So today we are going to talk about work from home, right? Because we
Yeah.
all working from home, right? And John is asking this very simple question: why didn't we start working from home like 5 years
Yes.
ago?
Yeah, because that day I think yesterday I think I saw this article on Yahoo, I think, or is it BBC? I can't remember which one, but the article was this. It's 2020. Why do we still need offices?
Yeah,
Something like that. So this is a very big, hot button topic, right? But now no choice,
topic.
right? So everyone gotta abide by it and park, just work from home. But
So that
yeah,
I used to work in a workplace where the office hours are strictly 9 to 6.
mm,
And then they told me one thing. They said it's only 9 to 6 because you don't come back on Friday half day. That's what they told me.
oh,
Can you imagine in modern day, right?
uh,
Singapore, they tell you it's 9 to 6. Otherwise, it's 9 to 5. You come back on Saturday. So I asked them.
what? That's bullshit.
I come back on Saturday half day. Nobody around. I do what?
Right.
No lah. You just have to make up the hours to justify the salary we pay. And make up the hours.
So that means even by sitting there and doing fuck all, then you.
Yeah. So that means that there is in a lot of companies in Singapore lah, okay,
Yeah.
there is still a per hour mentality, the hours mentality. Like we are paying for your hours,
Right.
right? And it goes into a deeper issue of what are you really paying? And I've asked employers this question: what are you really paying me for? Are you paying me for hours or you pay me for what I
Work.
can do?
Correct.
Right? If you are paying me for what I can do, then throw out the hours because I'm going to do this for you 24 hours. Every time I'm awake, I'm doing what I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
very big difference. So again, very interesting, right? Like our culture, right, is still like a little bit, our work culture is a little bit stuck in the old school number of hours traded for a certain rate.
For me, when I look at this issue, the bigger thing for me is that I think the workplace, right, still has a place. The office still has a place, and for me, when I look at it, it's this. But this thing of flexi work, I think one thing about what this COVID-19 is teaching us, right? I think we mentioned this previously, is that to see how we can really trust our people, and there are a lot of Singapore companies that still cannot trust their people. Like I mentioned that someone that I knew, the boss actually would monitor, even toilet breaks. Then they will ask, hey, how come this day you tap out? You went out of the office more than 2 times. What were you doing? This kind of very like fucking small kids or what? Seriously, some people just. I mean, surely there's a better way to spend your day than to look into these kind of things, and then even though the person has delivered the work, you still go and tekan the fella. It's stupid, lah.
Yeah, it's not like you are living in 1960s Soviet Russia, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where every little thing needs to be tracked. I think in a modern day Singapore context, there is a lot of space for you to allow your employees to breathe a little bit more. You are right, the checking how many times you go to toilet. Well, question is, what are those 3 minutes worth to you?
Yeah.
In larger context of the whole business.
Yeah.
And then you can say, of course you can say 3 minutes add 3 minutes add together is a lot of minutes. Okay, so what are we going to accomplish with those minutes? Do you have a concrete plan to accomplish something with those 3 minutes?
Exactly.
You don't have, let them go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's the same. With my team, it's always a case. Look, I have this task for you by this day, this time. I need it. That's all. I'm not going to micromanage you and every day. Hey, what did you do today? How was your day? this and that, how many times you went to pee, how long you took to eat. You know, I even had I remembered many years ago when I was working, I worked as a waiter. And this just to illustrate the mentality of some people. Um, and for me, yeah lah, you know, you work hard and then you have a break time, take it lah, you know, you need the break time. And I remember at that time I was a waiter. Then after that, I remember after meal time, then I'll go into the staff lounge area and I'll take a rest, I'll take a smoke and things like that. And and I remember that my supervisor at the time came in and then started scolding me. I'm like, what the fuck for? And he was like, oh, you have 1 hour for your meal doesn't mean you must take the whole 1 hour. Then, huh? Then you want to squeeze extra time out from me, but you don't even want to let me have my full break. So this is the mentality of people from an employer side. I think too many bosses out there, right, are trying to take extract, you know, and also reminds me of also another place that I work. And this one was before I got all these things happened before I got into the industry. When I had this same a boss, you know, and this boss of mine, same thing with the break times. And then sometimes and I worked in that place, in that office, where it potentially could stretch to 16 17-hour working days, and she would get pissed off and really fuck the hell out of us in front of everyone. Didn't matter who was in front of her. She would scold us in front of whoever there was, for just going for a smoke break, a 2-3 minute smoke break.
Wow.
Yeah. And she would very happily always proclaim, oh, you know, I'm very famous here for being able to squeeze blood from stone. She would say this actually, you know, and I never forgot that till today, because it was that experience I had, right, that made me decide definitely that's not the kind of boss that I want to be, you know. And this working experience was like almost 20 years back now. But it's yeah.
Wow. Faith can be proud of themselves for being famous for that still.
Correct. A lot of people have this mentality, and I think it actually really affects the trust levels, and why people are so tired out all the time, because they feel that they are constantly being watched. So then,
I think no, like 100% agree with you. I like 100% agree with you on that. I think the whole being watched, being surveilled that has no place in today's workplace.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would like to talk about is the reverse of it, which is as an employee, right?
Yeah.
What do we do, right,
Yeah.
to first of all have those privileges, right? And let's put it this way. I know it's not supposed to be a privilege. It's supposed to be right.
Yeah.
But let's say you had to earn it. Okay.
Have what?
Let's say you had to earn it.
Right.
And I think that employees need to put in the extra amount of effort, because like in your situation, right, you say, I don't micromanage my team, I don't tell them what to do, have you done this today and all that. Let's say you don't do that. Employees need to be able to need to have the mindset of, okay, they don't ask me, but I got to tell them to keep them updated.
Correct.
And, you know?
Yeah.
And don't wait until you're going to die already, then say something.
Yeah. I think only when the situation to really come down, not, I wouldn't say come down hard, but to take action is if the employee is being unresponsive.
Correct.
I don't think it's a case of, you know, morning you report, then after that at night, in the evening, you just say, okay, that's the only time you contact. I don't think I think it should be the responsibility also of everyone to just update each other, you know.
Correct.
You also don't want that case where it happens where you start having to defend yourself, you know, from this. It's not a pleasant damn thing to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like send little updates, tell them, hey, so on this thing, this is what's happening now. On this project, this is what's happening now. Like communicate with the employer, with the boss, with the supervisor. That is one of the things that I think employees need to be conscious about, because on both sides it is insecurity.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's a topic that really covers a few different areas. First you have whether or not this should happen. What's the future of work going to look like? Will we see smaller office spaces because people are not say downsizing in terms of their team, but downsizing the numbers required to be physically in an office.
Correct.
That changes the landscape for
Correct.
so many things. Property prices, changes rentals, and
digital solution. What is a digital solution? Do you invest in new infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, that kind of thing? Companies need to figure that out. And I mean, it may sound like it's not part of the brand, but when you tell an potential employee, this is how the company works, that's part of the brand. That's employer branding 100%.
Exactly that. So if you're gonna tell someone out there, look, you're gonna join my team, we trust you to be an adult, but anyway, we're gonna watch you. Buy a team viewer or some shit like that, So I mean, there's a lot of unnecessary fear being put in. But I like what you said earlier, like the value of the hour, and then if you don't come in at this time, or you better make up for lost time. I've for me, my approach has always been this: look, I don't really care what time you come in, right? For me, it's on you. If you know that you cannot finish something on time, then you take it on your own, your own account to go and finish up whatever you need to do. I don't have to be the one to tell you to stay back late, because I don't think in today's modern world that it should come to that. Maybe it differs for industries. Yes, no, maybe so. But as far as how, like my team, for example, is run, is that, look, you come in this time, yeah, sure. If you want to come in late, yeah, that's your problem, right? But if you can't finish something, you better jolly well don't need me to remind you to stay and finish something. Yeah. So I think that should be the approach. But
I mean, that's how you treat adults, right?
Yeah. But it's something that in our society, right, this still hasn't caught on.
It's the infantilization. I sound like crazy. I sound crazy, but it's the infantilization of people.
Yeah.
The authority.
Yeah. I know better than you.
Yeah,
and
I know better
because
than
you are just an employee, you don't.
Yeah, I am your father.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yeah, you small fry, you don't know what you're doing, so better I keep an eye on you. So that, and it's sad, and I thought that this only happened in the older generation, but I realized that even some of the second and third gen leaders, right, this thing is still happening. So when I look at this whole situation, I say, is it okay? Culture definitely has been part of the culture. So the question is, why don't they dare to change?
Is the father still alive?
I was just thinking the same thing. You said so the appropriate people must go first before things can change.
So that's why I always ask, especially family business, right? If I'm consulting, is the father still around? Is he involved in the business? No, I don't mean officially involved only. I mean stay in the business.
Yeah.
If he does, okay, we have to know his rules, what his values are, what is he thinking of. He must, if he's going to be a part of it, we have to know.
Yeah.
And very often it's because someone is still involved. So you are right.
Always the case.
You are right. If it's a second, third generation, certain values cannot be dislodged until someone goes for good.
Yeah, but by then also, right, even with where I still see the issue with this, right, is that it becomes so institutionalized in the whole system. It's totally ingrained in the system that has spilled over to the supervisor. Like middle management is very affected by it, and then because top management say, it could be the way that they said it could have been just very okay lah, but it's not really properly set in stone. Look, we real
Yeah.
culture change, because a lot of companies here, right, still don't know what to do with their culture. For them, a good culture means very good culture, lor. Sometimes we eat cake, then we go home early. That is good culture. But I said, hey, look, that is beyond your working hours and cake. This whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's got to go beyond that, and people have to understand that culture can improve people.
Yeah.
We both work at you know, and I think for all the things that happen, okay, the culture at the workplace improve me and everyone that I work with, for sure, 100%. Because it got into it, the way the culture worked made us pause the work, look at the people that are working next to us, understand them understand them on a much deeper level than any other workplace I've been to, and then allowed us to harness that back in the work.
Right.
So our understanding as like between me and you, or between me and another colleague, would be harnessed later on, because we know each other's strengths and weaknesses. We don't need to ask anymore.
Right.
We know you're good at something, and we can ask you. We are allowed to ask you. So it's that those base core rules allow the company to move faster. So like you said, it's not about cake. It's not about working extra hours together and being willing to. While knowing the other guy, whether whether he is actually proficient in business Mandarin or not.
Right.
What is his life experience?
It's interesting, how one topic of whether officers should still exist, has come up to like this. I mean, this is a clear indication, right, that whether that is a possibility, it all boils down to the culture at the organization.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's
up to
whether it's
you.
in the West, whether it's here in Asia. Of course, again, not every industry can make that happen. That's for sure. I mean, you cannot expect your factory workers to be working from home. That doesn't happen. But I mean, wherever possible, because I think it in the long run, whatever that is happening now with the COVID-19 situation is that it's teaching us a lot of lessons on how to make these kind of things work. And I think for an SME, right, this will make a lot of sense moving forward, because you realize to yourself that you don't need a lot of space, right, to operate fully. And that's cost savings for a small company. Hey, Basket, if you go and rent a place $3,000 a month for work, for an office space, and then you realize that, hey, bloody hell, actually I need an office space only just half of the size that I currently have, and then this only admin person, finance person maybe in the office, but the rest all at home. This changes dramatically.
Overheads change.
Yeah. The possibility, then of course this takes us into the next another discussion probably in future about, hey, where's the place for a company like WeWork, co-working spaces? How will this work in future, where we are so vulnerable to these kind of things? So it's really at this point of time, right, is to really
so transient, right?
to the company, right?
Yeah.
And see what is absolutely possible for you moving forward.
Because we're so transient now.
Yeah.
We don't need to work. And talk about that, there is. So I heard about a grant. I don't know if you heard about it. There's like a teleworking or telecommuting grant, right? For every employee that telecommutes, up to $2,000. Right?
Is it?
Buy equipment.
I'll be interested to see that grant.
You go and see. You go and
I
find
don't know about this. Yeah.
Wow. So if your employees are telecommuting, right?
Yeah.
And this just came up. This is like also one of the things that they do.
We should put in the link if we find it.
Yeah. It's up to $2,000 per employee.
Per month? One off lah.
One off to buy equipment.
Ooh.
So hardware, you need
But
cloud.
this is in reference only to perm telecommuters or
You just need to prove that they are telecommuter.
so yeah, so this
Really?
is something that interests me greatly also because you do you know how big is my office space? My office space we have a mezzanine, and you know
Yeah.
how many people are in the my team is like
Oh,
about 10 of us,
okay,
you
okay,
know,
okay.
and we have tables enough to support probably another 10. But one thing we appreciate the space.
Yeah,
Upstairs we use for filming, we use for meetings.
yeah.
Whoever doesn't want to be sociable can piece off upstairs to work also.
Yeah.
For me, I value still the physical space.
I think that is real merit, right? You know how now when you do meeting,
Yeah.
it just feels different. You kind of still want to go and shake the hand, sit down, look
Yes.
the
Yeah.
eye, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Exactly.
It's the same
Exactly.
thing. You had there's this discomfort with being so far apart
Yeah.
from each other
Mm.
and not
That,
being able to connect in a room together.
but as far as like my team, I found that I actually communicate much more with my team and more members of the team.
Correct.
So I depends lah, but I really believe that this is the way forward lah,
Mm.
why spend money on a big office space if you
Smaller
really
office
don't need
spaces,
it to function?
more concentrated, a
Yeah,
lot more movement though, like
yeah,
a lot more in and out, but still a space.
yeah. And I
Then
think it's important still to like as part of the culture because alignment must always be there, and sometimes the physical
correct,
contact is very important. But
correct,
where
correct.
where where I see office spaces in the future is okay. Main function probably, yeah, we need to go back to the office. Maybe the bosses could be finance, like what I mentioned, and that the office space, right, host weekly meetings. Everyone come back for one day a week, congregate, share, have that connection there because the connection between team members also crucial because if you don't see each other every day at the office, there's no chance for banter, no chance
Correct,
for talking
correct,
whatever, right? So
correct.
again, changes the dynamics. So for me, and I think this is something that we have to bring up in another episode where we really dive into how are we going to build culture in a moment like this.
So very interesting that you said once a week. I actually, when I was in Boston, I worked in a social media agency. Shout
Mm.
out to Meta Media in
Mm.
Boston, and they have an office in across the river in Cambridge, right? So not everybody will come in, right? And they
Yeah,
are free to not come in. Sometimes the office there is literally no one.
yeah,
The interesting thing is that every week they will come in, like you said, they will come in, right? And there's a theme, so and every
yeah.
month themed, event. So the team thinks about what to do, and they'll have
Mm.
like breakfast.
Yeah,
You know,
that's important.
they have
Absolutely.
and they
And
get together and they talk about it.
and this is one thing that now that you're mentioning this, right? Before we end this topic, also going out to all the SME bosses who are potentially maybe hearing this, right? That if you are going to say this kind of thing here cannot one down there they are more company, right? Then they can do. I said then there is a very BS. There's a fucking nonsense
Yeah,
comment really
that's
because
actually reverse racist to
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, you're being racist to
To
yourself and you're
yourself.
basically saying that Asians cannot look after themselves or have no capacity to
Yeah,
carry out something, cannot be trusted to work.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so I remember also mentioning this to some boss, and this is what exactly the guy said. And I'm like, I looked at him, I said, "Are you fucking great? Are you mad?" Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a lot of mentality change that is needed. We have to stop looking down on
Mm,
our
mm.
own
No,
workforce, our own people, and say that
you
just
know,
because we are not
you can have
Western, we can't do something like that.
correct. Just because of your skin color, you're gonna decide that you can't do something. Then you disadvantage yourself. Seriously.
What a dick
Right.
thing to say, honestly.
Like think
But
about it. You can you can have breakfast with your team and have someone conduct a skill share.
Yeah.
You can have breakfast with your team and watch a show together. You can do a lot of things together that enhance your team's unity.
Yes.
And that is priceless. You may lose an hour or two on it, but the unity of the team, you will make up for it in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. So yeah.
One thing also that I notice about working remotely like this is that you really have to. It becomes I don't know I don't know about for others, but for my side, right, it becomes clear about what you are doing. That means if you don't pull your weight to do something, it becomes a
Yes.
much more fucking obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think there's when you're in the office setting, sometimes there's a lot of opportunity for playing politics, or kissing ass, and then that takes away the concentration from the work. And I've noticed this with my team that the the performance has always been good, but the rate of churn out, right, of stuff, it becomes better. And the
Yes.
quality of work I noticed also got better. For some reason, I don't know. I still wondering, looking at the whole situation and wondering, where's that thing besides the fact that they are working remotely, but there's definitely something else that is creating this positive impact as far as my organization is concerned.
That's very interesting because a lot of people would hypothesize the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I I think, and I find myself doing this very often. I think that a lot of times when we are working remote, we are forced to reach out to one another more often,
Yes, correct. Yeah. Yep.
and then we are actually, by doing that, double checking each other
Yeah.
to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
Yep.
Because we are pushing each other in a positive way. It's not that it's negative. It's not rude or anything, but we are,
And I think also, it could be right, like, because if you're in the office, you kind of assume that or I know something. But when you're on Zoom, you have to assume that everyone don't know. So your tendency to remind is a
yes.
bit higher, which I think aligns everyone a lot better.
During my Zoom calls, we actually will just ask double. Hey, so do you mean? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And then they're like,
Correct.
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Then eliminate that confusion immediately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
Exactly.
like
It could
giving
be
that,
it. Could be it. Could be it.
could be it. Yeah. So I mean, got good, got bad, right?
Yeah.
Working remote, and working in the office, and I mean, I personally like a flexi work arrangement where
Right.
I don't have to be in the office all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would very much prefer to be on site with what I do or with my clients. I mean, if and when I have employees, I would say that like I would institute flexi
Yeah.
instead of completely remote. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flexi
But
makes
my side, I can tell you very honestly that I'm looking into it quite in a very very concrete way about the possibility of just downsizing the office, in order to allow more flexi arrangements.
correct.
Yeah, it's proven that it can work,
Yeah, and it took COVID-19 to force us to do it.
yeah, it's forcing every business to rethink, like that's why we were talking about digital in the earlier episodes,
Yeah.
and now we're talking about this one here, but it's definitely a chance to replan everything, because we never know again, and it's important now that we really literally have to live in this present moment right now, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Just
And
we gotta suck it up and
yeah,
more find new ways. It's very
exactly.
people are inventive if we give them a chance to be inventive.
Yeah.
It's the perfect opportunity. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching.
And if you like our video, please smash the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.